Okay, so welcome to another deep dive. Today we're going to be looking at this guide called English for Healthcare Management and Administration. And I don't know about you, but I found it really fascinating.
Yeah, yeah, I did too.
Yeah, it's easy to think about, the medical field as, doctors and nurses and stuff, but there's so much more to it than that, right?
Oh yeah, absolutely. There's a whole world behind the scenes that we don't often see.
Right, and this guide kind of pulls back the curtain on that and shows how, language plays such a huge role in making the whole healthcare system function.
It's true, yeah, because at the end of the day, it's all about communication.
Absolutely. And the guide starts off by outlining these lesson objectives, which is really helpful, I think. It lays out very clearly what healthcare professionals should be striving for in terms of, their language skills.
Yeah, it's all about giving them the tools they need to succeed, right? Like understanding specialized terminology, handling inquiries, and using professional language.
Exactly. And I was thinking, why are these skills so crucial in the healthcare field? What are your thoughts on that?
Well, I mean, think about it. You're dealing with people's lives, their health, their personal information. It's a sensitive area, right? So accuracy is paramount, and so is confidentiality.
Oh, absolutely. Yeah, one wrong word or phrase could have serious consequences.
Exactly. And then there's the whole issue of navigating the complex world of healthcare policies and procedures. You need to be able to understand and communicate that information clearly and effectively.
Right. And speaking of specific terms, the guide has this section on core vocabulary that I found really interesting. It lists words like patient records, billing, and compliance, which, you hear all the time in a healthcare setting, but maybe don't always think about what they really mean.
Yeah, those terms might seem straightforward on the surface, but they actually carry a lot of weight, right? They're tied to specific regulations and legal requirements.
Like, for instance, confidentiality. That's not just a casual word. It's directly linked to HIPAA regulations and protecting patient privacy.
Exactly. And billing, that's not just about sending out invoices. It's about ensuring the financial stability of the entire healthcare facility.
It's really amazing how much complexity is packed into these seemingly simple words, right?
Oh, absolutely. And I think that's one of the things the guide does so well. It really highlights the importance of language precision in this field.
Absolutely. And then the guide moves on to useful grammar, which I have to admit I wasn't expecting to be so interesting.
Oh, grammar can be fascinating, especially in a context like this where it can really impact the clarity and effectiveness of communication.
Yeah, and I was particularly struck by how the guide emphasizes the use of the passive voice and the present perfect tense in healthcare communication.
Right, because they create a sense of formality and professionalism, which is really important in this setting.
Yeah, and it's subtle, right? Like you don't always realize the impact those grammatical choices are having.
Exactly. Like, for example, the guide gives the example, patient records must be kept confidential. The passive voice there really emphasizes the obligation, the importance of that confidentiality.
Right, it's not just a suggestion, it's a rule.
Exactly. And then there's the example, we have updated our intake procedures. The present perfect tense there is really useful for communicating those ongoing changes and policies. It shows that the action is complete and the new procedures are in effect now.
Right, it provides that clarity that's so important in a fast-paced environment like healthcare.
Exactly, yeah. And then the guide moves on to what they call phrases for healthcare communication. And, at first glance, these might seem like simple, everyday phrases, but they're carefully chosen to facilitate clear and effective communication.
Yeah, and again, it's all about context, right? Like in a healthcare setting, even something as simple as, how can we assist you with your healthcare needs today, takes on a whole new level of importance.
Absolutely. You're dealing with patients who may be anxious, stressed, or even in pain. So it's crucial to use language that is both professional and empathetic.
Right, it's about making them feel heard and understood, and that can go a long way in improving their overall experience.
Exactly. And the guide provides a whole range of phrases that can help healthcare professionals achieve that, from explaining procedures to providing reassurance to addressing concerns.
And then to kind of bring it all together, the guys suggest some activities to help people actually put these language skills into practice.
Right, because it's one thing to read about it, it's another thing to actually do it, right?
Exactly. So they suggest things like role-playing patient inquiries and discussing case studies, which I think is a really great way to bridge the gap between theory and practice.
Oh, absolutely. I mean, it allows healthcare professionals to kind of step into those real-world scenarios and practice using the language and communication skills they've learned.
Yeah, and I imagine that could be really helpful for building confidence too, feeling like you can actually handle those challenging situations.
For sure, because at the end of the day, it's all about providing the best possible care for patients, and that starts with clear, effective communication.
Absolutely. So I guess the main takeaway here is that language really matters in healthcare administration, right?
Yeah, it's not just about sounding professional, it's about ensuring accuracy, protecting privacy, and ultimately contributing to better patient outcomes.
It's about understanding that every word has power and that clear communication can truly make a difference in people's lives.
Exactly, and I think this guide does a fantastic job of highlighting that and providing healthcare professionals with the tools they need to excel in their communication.
So as we wrap up, I'm left wondering, how much do those everyday interactions, those seemingly small moments of communication, really impact a patient's overall experience and their health outcomes? It's definitely something to think about.
It is. It really is. And I think it speaks to the incredible importance of the work that healthcare administrators do. They may not be on the front lines, but they play a vital role in ensuring that the healthcare system runs smoothly and that patients receive the care they need.
Absolutely. Well, on that note, thanks for joining me for another deep dive. Until next time.
It's a pleasure. 689.